More people will trigger in, but let's get started. We have 1.5 hours ahead of us. Very exciting 1.5 hours where we're going to talk about the recently finished UN Road Safety Week that was held in May, and this is a month from now. So we just wanted to pick up on what we saw happening. There was a lot of advocacy momentum that was that started during the week. And we really want to make sure that this is not lost or not picked up. So the purpose of this call here is really to talk about what momentum we have seen being reached and how we can piggyback on it, how we can move forward together on it, which help, which support, and how we all need, and how we can help each other on that. So I am very delighted to have a couple of people with me here, but welcome to all of you, all the members, all those who are supporters of the Alliance joining us today. It's very exciting to have you. So I will just, in a few minutes, start with a overview of what we saw the NGOs' achievements during the UN Road Safety Week. And then I will be followed by a mini panel of Etienne Krug from WHO and Saul Billingsley from FIA Foundation. And we will talk about what the opportunities we saw from the week, but also what we can do in the preparation moving forward, in particular around the head of state meeting that are going to take place next year. We will then move on to a group of the NGOs, hearing from the NGOs, and they will talk about the opportunities they saw from the campaign, what they're planning to do next, and what support they need. And with that, we have Nani Rodriguez from Gonzalo Rodriguez Foundation in Uruguay. We have George Medni from Edel Medni Foundation in Lebanon. And we have Innocent Nayamama from Healthy People Rwanda with us as well. Once we're done with the panel, we will have a Q&A, and you're very welcome to put your questions or your comments in the chat function. And we will try to see and get some replies from the panelists, from the NGOs, and also from Saul and from Etienne. After that, we will have Rod King from 20's Plenty, who will do a summary of what we've heard you talking about and some of the opportunities that you have seen coming out of the week, and what we would like to see happening and how we achieve that together. That's Rod King who will do that. After that, we will then do breakout rooms, and we will have a couple of breakout rooms. You'll hear a little bit more about that later. And in those breakout rooms, we'll talk about the opportunities we see for follow-up for the Love 30 campaign and the UN Road Safety Week, and also what you need to achieve that. And there will be some feedback from the breakout rooms and a summary of what we're going to what we need to do next after that. So that's a busy 1.5 hours we have ahead of us. So let's get started. And I just want to talk a little bit about the achievements that we have seen coming out of the week from the NGOs. The Alliance received funding from FIA Foundation, from WHO, and from FedEx. And with that, we supported a number of NGOs, actually 63 NGOs around the world. And the numbers you see here is based on the reporting that they have made, but I know there's a lot of more things that have happened around the world throughout the week. And I also know that this is not all those who received funding have reported back. So these numbers are actually at the low end. They're coming in, all the numbers are coming in as we speak. Actually, the last numbers were just updated here an hour ago, where we received one more report. So what you hear here is that 91 million people have seen the campaign messages during the UN Road Safety Week, and almost 400,000 have been directly involved. Directly involved means that you have either been part of a session, you have been doing a petition, you have sort of face-to-face or directly reached the message. where the 91 million is reached through social media, through TV, through all sorts of ways of reaching people. So that's 91,400,000 people. Very high numbers, the highest that we have ever seen for a week. We also have seen that we had a global rally that took place the 17th of May, and we had almost 1,000 people viewing that. That's the highest number of people we have ever had for 1 hour session in the Alliance history. We did a Twitter storm on the day of the global rally, and that had an estimated 5 million reach, also the highest that we have ever seen. I just mentioned that we gave grants to NGOs, and these grants have managed to get 20 smart commitments for change by policymakers for specific action. And these specific actions are things like installing a speed bump. It's like reduction of speed in a school zone. It's very much around school zones, very much around local communities, but it's 20 commitments made by policymakers for change, and this obviously needs to be followed up. We have also reported endorsement of 30 kilometers an hour in communities, and we have more than 100 policymakers who have made an endorsement. This endorsement is made by either vocally expressing a support and an endorsement of 30 kilometers an hour, or it's a signboard, holding a signboard that says, I support 30 kilometers an hour. And it's quite important with this endorsement, since a commitment is where you are planning to do something about it, but an endorsement is the avenue, or sort of the road towards a commitment and towards the change. So we also want to capture that in our reporting. The NGOs that we have who did activities in the week that had reported back to us, we know that 81% of the NGOs pushed for a local or a national commitment for 30 kilometers an hour. And out of these, 38% secured a specific commitment, and 73 obtained a policymaker endorsement. This is also quite significant and quite high numbers for sort of an indication of change. 67% of our NGOs did a community activity where they mobilized their own community for support. We also asked in our reporting, are you going to continue working towards 30 kilometers an hour in communities, and 100% of the NGOs have reported that they plan to do that. So this is the numbers from 63 NGOs in 44 countries who received this small grant from us. And this is a grant that we managed to get to you through support from Sol, who's here with us, and from Etienne, who's here with us, and also from FedEx. So thank you very much for that support. And I think we're safe to say that this is a really huge achievement that we have seen coming out of this week. It's quite impressive numbers. It's the highest number that we have ever seen. And I think we are safe to say that the reporting that we have got back is that there is some momentum being built. Liz, do you just want to show the next slide with some of the pictures that we have from some of you? We have many, many more pictures, but I think this is just a little snaz of what we got from you, from petitions, from engaging communities in various ways around the world. I would like to continue now with Sol and with Etienne, and I don't know who of you would like to go first, but maybe, I don't know, should we start with the alphabet? Etienne, you start talking, give us a little bit of sort of your views of what you have seen, the momentum that you have seen at the week here, and what you're planning to do moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Lotte, but Billingsley comes before Krug, so I'm very happy to have Billingsley go first if you want, so otherwise...
I said the first name, Etienne.
Yeah, I know, I got that.
After you.
All right, good. Well, first of all, Lotte, I want to start by paying tribute to you and your leadership, as well as to the entire NGO community for what truly was an amazing global UN Road Safety Week this year. And I think UN Road Safety Week after UN Road Safety Week, or big global event after big global event, we are seeing our NGO community becoming stronger and stronger, more active, more vocal. And this is for me a dream come true, because I have always known that we will not achieve road safety out of our UN agency position alone. We need a strong, organized, vocal, united global NGO community, and that's what we have more and more, and what we saw in this UN Road Safety Week was a real testimony of that. So thanks to all of you for everything you have done and are doing and will do in the future on this and on other campaigns. It's really amazing to see your commitment and to see how much you can do with actually very limited resources sometimes. So I think this is some of the best investments we make, is to support you as much as we can, because I know little amounts of money here and there actually go very far when we put it in the hands of the global NGO community, as well as the national and local communities. So thanks so much. It was a great week, in part also because it was a great theme, and thanks Rod also for leading us through, you know, all of this work with your strong perseverance and commitment too for your cause, which is now our cause. I think it was concrete, it was clear, and it got a lot of support because people understood it, and also because we pushed it hard. So what's important now is to keep pushing. Very often, I think we do these weeks and we have some success, but then we move on to the next big thing. And this is one we should keep constantly bringing back to the forefront, talk about, give visibility to, because it can really lead to concrete results. But it takes time for city leaders, national leaders to really make this change a reality and a lasting reality. So we have to continue, I think, hammering the message. Of course, we are also at the same time preparing for the upcoming high-level meeting. Next year, we will have what we call a high-level meeting of the UN General Assembly. It's an official term with capital letters. It means basically an official event in the context of the UNGA. The resolution that describes how this event will happen is still being finalized and negotiated now with member states, but it is likely that it will happen in July, and that there will be two preparatory meetings, one which should be of particular interest to you because it will be an engagement with civil society. It should happen before the end of this year, in order to feed in messages from the NGO community and non-state actors, so that's also the private sector, into the high-level meeting. But what we hope is that this high-level meeting will bring together the highest possible representation of countries, ideally heads of state. This is more likely when we can do it in the margins of the formal UNGA, which is in September, the UNGA opening, when they all speak in New York. So I'm not sure if we'll have heads of state, but hopefully we'll have at least very senior representation that should be aiming at endorsing the global plan, which we are finalizing for the decade of action, and hopefully talking about national level commitments by these leaders. That's, I think, the next focus of all of us. We should rally now to make sure the high-level meeting is productive. That means that it is well attended and that it comes with commitments from those who attended, high-level leaders. By then, the global plan, which is being finalized and should be launched probably in September or so, will be well known. They'll have had roughly a year to see it, to endorse it, and to, based on the global plan, develop their national plans. And I think we have to hold them accountable to that and make sure that they do indeed develop national plans based on the global plan. But all in all, I think this is a celebration of all the great work you guys have done for the week. So thanks so much for all of that. It is great to have you. It is great to work with you and to see all the amazing work you are achieving. Thanks.
All right. Saul, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the stepping stones that we need to look at? First of all, the momentum that you saw being, or did you see a momentum, and what did you see? And also some of the stepping stones that we need to maybe look at for up to the head of state meeting. What concretely do we need to do? Etienne mentioned making sure the national plans are in place. How do we do this, and what do you see?
Thanks, Lottie. You'll be glad to hear. I did see momentum in the week and coming out of the week. I think our Rebecca can correct me, but I think our own sort of analysis from our social media analysis was that it was about 3 times as big as the last one we did in 2019. So it really did catch the imagination, and I think a lot of people got involved. Pay a huge tribute to all of you for all the work that you did around the world in making it a reality. Great sort of coordination leadership by the NGO Alliance, which really shows, what you're there for and how you can sort of bring everyone together. And also sort of thanks to Etienne and WHO and yours for being great partners in putting this together, and to Rod for being our sort of guru and guiding star. I think it was a great campaign. The thing I liked about it was very practical, very specific. You really get policymakers to sort of come down on one side or the other. Are you in favor of 30 km/h speed limits in urban areas where vulnerable people and children are walking, cycling, living, or aren't you? And on the whole, policymakers came back and said, yes, we are. We've got a huge number of endorsements, including some pretty influential heads of agencies, from Dr. Tedros at WHO down, and we need to be exploiting those and using those endorsements and that support as we sort of move forward towards the high-level meeting. So to give you a couple of examples, we're talking to a couple of UN agencies about how we can keep Streets for Life campaign going through their work. For example, UN Habitat have a midterm review of their new urban agenda next year. The new urban agenda is the sort of the big global cities policy, and road safety featured quite heavily in it last time it was agreed in 2016. There'll be a great opportunity, sort of staging post, to try and reiterate that and re-emphasize that when the new urban agenda is reviewed, and it'll be a pretty high profile meeting. So that's one example. There's also the climate summit, which is coming up in November, which I think the UK government is hoping will be an in-person summit. So there will be hopefully some NGO presence there. And the great thing about this Streets for Life campaign is that it lends itself to all sorts of different alliances. It lends itself to alliances with youth, with environment, with climate campaigners, with people who just want to see the streets where their kids can play. A lot of people who don't consider themselves to be road safety people get behind Streets for Life because it endorses a sort of worldview of how we should be living more broadly in cities. So we should be doing all we can to build those alliances, to expand those alliances, and I think that would be a critical thing. One immediate thing that we're focusing on at the foundation is the high-level political forum, which is coming up in July at the UN. This is where countries meet to present an update on their progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. This year, health is one of the subjects which is under review. There are a number of countries that are going to be reporting at the high-level political forum. So we're working through the NGO Alliance with a lot of you to try and contact your countries and try and get them either to, it's probably too late now to get any language into their reports, but just look at examples of things that they are doing which align with Streets for Life, and trying to publicize that and build support. I think sort of critically going forward in terms of our strategy, what would be really nice to see would be a lot of countries coming to the high-level meeting next year endorsing the global plan and announcing specific things that they're going to do in this specific area. So I think all of us need to be thinking very hard, try to turn what was a 1 week campaign into a year-long movement, so that we've got a year from now until the high-level meeting. Let's really focus on going back to the policymakers we engaged with during the UN week, going back to the institutions we engaged with, talking to them about 30 kilometers an hour, seeing what practically they can achieve. And it'll be at different levels. It might be just a local thing, it might be a national thing, it might be a city mayor that you're talking to, it might be an institution that you're talking to. It depends what sort of levels you're interacting at. I think all of those are valuable. I think the more evidence we can build, the more practical achievement we can build, a step at a time, it all adds to a global narrative saying, this is a really positive thing that can change your towns and cities for the better. It can improve your children's lives, it can improve your environment. These are examples of how we can do it. Let's all work together and make it happen. So whatever level you're working at, however humble or however grand, I think it all comes together. And what we need to do at sort of the global level, WHO, FIA Foundation, NGO Alliance, yours and others, is make sure that we're capturing that and turning it into a global narrative, turning it into noise and a sense that we're all united and we're all pushing forward, and we can really make Streets for Life a spearhead policy which brings people to the wider global plan that is being developed. So I think sort of in short, that's what we should be doing. One of the practical things that we're doing at the foundation is providing a bit of funding to the NGO Alliance to help some of you align Streets for Life with the Commit to Act campaign, so that hopefully we can come to the high-level meeting with some commitments from governments, with some examples of what you have all been doing, and really make a lot of noise there and get the new decade of action off to a great start. Thanks.
Thank you. Some very specific things there, so thanks for that. I'm just wondering, Etienne, will we see 30 kilometers an hour in the global plan?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I have to relook at the level of specificity we're at with the plan. This is a rather specific measure. So I'm quite convinced there. I mean, certainly speed will be well featured, and the need to address it, the role of cities as well. Will we go as far as having the specifics in there? It's more a level of specificity than anything else, and consistency. But let's see.
It was just as a follow-up to the Stockholm Declaration.
Yeah.
Could be good. Maybe that's a task for you, Etienne.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay. Let's move on to Nani and to George and to Innocent, and hear from your side, what did you see happening over the week, and some of the hooks that you have seen coming out of the week and how you would move forward on those. Nani, would you start, please?
Yes, thanks, Lotte. Good afternoon for everyone. Well, I think that in our case, in Uruguay, and also we did in other countries, this week gave us the chance to reinforce the topic, the concept in the legislator levels with the parliaments. We need to think that here there's still in Latin America a lot of resistance to 30 kilometers per hour in the cities. Actually, many times people send me, through social media, like, are you crazy? How are we going to live with 30 kilometers per hour? You are mad, insane, things like that. And I really enjoy when something like that happens, because I have the chance to justify and to talk about the topic and show the other perspective. And I don't know, so in some way it's quite fun because there is some resistance, and talking seriously when the community, the people, the citizens, they are not quite convinced. Politicians, they are afraid to move forward. So showing like other cases from other cities nearby. So I show the case of cities here in Latin America, and also, you know, big cities like Paris. I don't know. I use like all this information. It's very helpful. One thing that is, you know, we all know that we must have this topic on the public agenda like all the time, because there are so many messages now competing, like COVID, cancer, heart disease, economic, like, you know, there's so many messages on the media that if we don't push harder than we used to do, road safety and speed limits, you know, it would go like really down on the attention of media. So another thing that gave me the chance this week is to talk also with the people who make the regulations in the local levels, like in the small cities or departments, or, you know, like in the second and third level of government. So, and normally in that level, like in the small cities, in the countryside, this type of information normally doesn't go, you know, go there. So in this week, having like key people with a 30 kilometers per hour, I think it was a good chance to catch the attention of the small cities. And so in terms of the first question, that's my answer. Should I go to the second one, or Lotte, you want to go to other people? I go to the second?
Yeah, please do. Please continue, Nani.
Okay. Then one of the things that we did, and I think it was really smart, is taking the momentum of the elections. In the case of Uruguay, we have different countries also in elections, but I will talk now because I have just 3 minutes. The case of Uruguay, it was the elections on the city levels. So what I have done is I have meetings one-to-one with the candidates, like a month or like 3-4 weeks before the elections. So I just put the message really fresh in the mind of the candidates, and the candidates, I give all the elements of the benefits. And also I was on media. So I said, I will, if you get committed to this, I will support your message publicly. And so politicians get really tempting to have an NGO supporting the message just 2 or 3 weeks before the elections. So playing a little bit, you know, a strategy with that. I did that with all of them. I just tried to identify, depends on the character of each one. For example, with one candidate, I work the speed limits on school zones. The other candidate, I work the speed limits on the adult people. In the other candidates, another candidate, I work on speed limit with school buses. So it wasn't like the same message identically to all of them, because it won't be like very strategic. So I twisted a little bit, and I give it like the own identity to each candidate. But in the end, I was talking about speed reduction from different perspective, but the message was like the same. So, and it was very useful, because candidates, when they are really close to the elections, they really start to talk about like what is the trending topic on media and social media. So we were like really fast trying to put that on social media and also on newspapers and everything. So the candidates, they spoke about that. So it was a good strategy. And then about the needs that the WHO, FIA Foundation, and the Alliance, that I see from my perspective, that they will have in this strategy. Definitely organizations, they are working on the ground, like locally in terms of countries. And I think it will be very useful to work with organizations that can have influence on políticas de Estado, how can I say, on public policies. I think it will take the same time to work with a small community that in a city level or a national level. So in terms of WHO and FIA Foundation and the Alliance, which are global, I think they need to focus on organizations that can work on big scale. Those organizations collaborate with small organizations, but I think that that strategy, it will be very useful for WHO, FIA, and Foundation and Alliance to get results in a big scale. Because I think, in my experience on this, the value for to make a public policy is when it's in a big scale, and when you can show cases like national cases or big cities of other countries, and maybe it's not easy to show a result in the short term, but in the long term is when you really make the difference, when you have a public policy on place. That's my suggestion.
Thank you very much, Nani. I think that was very helpful and very specific. Thanks for that. I would like to move to Lebanon and to George. George, would you mind sharing with us what opportunities you saw from the week, also what you're going to do next, and what support you would like what support you have and the needs you have for support?
Of course. First of all, thank you so much, Lotte, and everyone, Liz, and all the team, the FIA Foundation and the WHO for all the efforts. It's a great honor to be among you all today. Well, actually, also sorry for being in the car actually now. I'm in the middle of a fleet safety management training, a whole day training, but the car is at full stop, so don't worry. So I'm sorry for this format. Okay. So what's amazing about this United Nations Global Road Safety Week is that we were able, as Adel Matni Foundation, as an NGO in Lebanon, to turn this campaign into a sustainable action in Lebanon through local commitment and policy making. So thankfully, through the support of the Alliance, through the small grant, we were able to work with 3 municipalities up till now to transform. I insist on the word transforming streets, 5 main streets, urban streets, and 3 main cities in Lebanon around Beirut city, the capital city. They are identified as overpopulated cities where people and vehicle mix in a big momentum and frequency. So, so far 5 streets were chosen, and the 5 streets were being transformed. First of all, through the integration and the endorsement of the 30 km/h speed limit. So we are installing the 30 km/h speed limit sign on all these 5 streets, including residential street, first of all, commercial district, 2 school zones and 1 university zone. So we have chosen, if you want, a diversity between streets where we thought also through the data collection that there was some road crashes previously and some injuries and also fatalities. This is one. Second of all, we are working with the municipal police also to train them on the enforcement means. Third of all, let me say also post-COVID-19, post-pandemic, our perception to road safety globally is on continuous change. So we need to start thinking locally, to think global and act local at the same time, especially for the new United Nations Decade of Action for Road Safety. And under the umbrella of the Alliance and with the help of all the great partners globally, I really would like to tell you that Lebanon, as you might know, is suffering from a financial crisis, a social crisis, a political crisis also. This is why where there is, if you want, there is no will on the national level. This is why we have chosen to work locally with local authorities, because we thought that we can track the change, we can keep the momentum. And also today, within the fleet safety management training, we are being able to introduce the Streets for Life campaign to companies, to private sector. So we are transforming the mentality and the culture at the same time of the fleets. You know, we have now actually during the last 2 weeks a fuel crisis in Lebanon. And unfortunately, through this crisis, we're being able to shift also the means of transportation. So people are going more eco driving, shifting towards more cycling and using maybe public transportation, to walk more in the streets to get their stuff and so on. So when there is a crisis about fuel also, we are being able to introduce this campaign to change and to transform mobility also within the local authorities and communities. Also, we are working with the media at the same time to promote this campaign. And we have created, if you want, this snowball effect, so positive jealousy, if I might say it this way. More municipalities are reaching out to Adel Matni Foundation to endorse the Streets for Life campaign. And we have created a sub-campaign, technically specific to Beirut, following the dramatic Beirut blast on August 4th in 2020, which is called the Beirut Streets for Life. So we are also mobilizing the community to be attached again to their hometown, to their cities, to their towns again, and to feel positive and proud and motivated to make road safety a priority at the local level and later on in a sustainable way on the national level. As Adel Matni Foundation, what we might need from the WHO and the FIA Foundation, first of all, thank you so much for all the efforts you are putting. You are motivating us on a daily basis. We would like also to ask you for small objectives, if I can say it this way, to shed light on our achievement. First of all, in developing countries like Lebanon, we really need moral support and to shed light on all what we are doing here to keep us motivated to achieve more. Second of all, of course, all the NGOs around the world are asking for maybe small funds. It's a cliche subject, I know, but maybe when we shed light on what we're doing, some worldwide partners will be maybe interested to support this campaign, and also to push the private sector more to do more CSR and the Streets for Life campaign to make it really a sustainable action and sustainable impact in Lebanon. So this is in short. We have started with 3 municipalities, and now we have moved to 6 municipalities, and the snowball is getting bigger and bigger. So we are so proud of what we're doing and so happy, and also we'll be sharing more reports and data with the Alliance and with you guys and with all the members, because what's important before I conclude is to collect data before the Streets for Life campaign, how much pollution we had, how much the level of pedestrians, the sidewalk, the engineering of the streets, and so on. And post campaign, how we are transforming the streets and the culture and the mentality, how the level of road crashes is really going down, and so on, using the micromobility systems, creating a local road safety system, a safe system approach, and so on. So collecting data is really crucial in terms of being transparent and accountable at the same time.
Thank you, George.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, really, because you gave us this opportunity, and this is amazing for me and on behalf of Adel Matni Foundation also, of everyone working behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, George. We are running a little bit behind schedule here, so let's move to Innocent. Innocent, you are in Rwanda, in Kigali. Would you talk a little bit about what you saw coming out of the week and some of the support that you would be looking for moving forward to keep the momentum going, please?
Thank you very much, Lotte. I'm Innocent Nzeimana. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Okay.
Yes, we hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. I'm Innocent Nzeimana from Rwanda. I'm the president of Health Rwanda, an NGO working on health promotion and on road safety since 6 years ago. First of all, I'm really honored with this opportunity to speak in this important session. The has given us many opportunities. It has given more visibility, more connections, and more partnerships opportunities with government or even private institutions. We had the opportunity to engage with the police, with the Ministry of Infrastructure, with media, and with UNFPA. Being part of that global movement has increased the trust of the decision makers after witnessing a well-structured, evidence-based, and smart campaign. After advocacy of 30 kilometers per hour speed limit, we were mainly focusing on school zones and residential areas where vehicles and people mix. We had good commitment from the Ministry of Infrastructure, which committed to put in a law. Actually, they immediately drafted the law about setting 30 kilometers per hour limit in school zones. The only, and even it has started to be implemented, now many schools around Kigali have that sign of 30 kilometer per hour limit. The only challenge on the schools opening at highways, but they are finding solutions for that. We are lucky that the Rwandan government has a really strong political will with regard to road safety, and many things are being done. And the UN Global Road Safety Week came while the focus was on speed management, where numerous automated speed cameras were being installed in different risky places all over the country. So we are looking forward to keep engage with them, with the police about enforcement, with the ministry about that commitment. And we are also planning to do an evaluation on impact of those automatic cameras. And that will be an opportunity to keep engaged with the government about speed management. And we also hope the result will have influence where to put them and also which speed limit to put where. We have also other projects in the pipeline that will help inform proper interventions in road safety in Rwanda. We keep engaging potential stakeholders to raise our voice, especially those institutions interested in non-motorized transport and environmental protection like GGIE, Buraride, ITDP, and so on. Now there are many things that we can benefit from WHO, Lunch Foundation, but I want to mention just three. We really need capacity building. We need to be equipped with updated evidence-based information to be able to deliver what is really important to the population or to the government that we are working with. This can be in terms of training or providing different resources. We also need the presence of these institutions in our initiatives. Even a simple thing like endorsing our activity may be enough to get the government support. Like some of the limitation we have is, for example, to get access to data, but sometimes if a institution like WHO is supporting us, it might be easy for a government institution to hear. Finally, lack of funding is, of course, a big challenge to many NGOs. So if whenever possible, getting funding for our advocacy activities or different road safety projects. It will be of great importance. So that's basically our the opportunities we get, what we are planning to do. Maybe what I forget to say is that with our engagement with the ministry, and they saw a potential in us to help sensitizing the population about the importance of lower speed. Because whenever speed lowered, there is a resistance from the population. So we are planning to work more on that, doing more sensitization for people to understand the importance. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Innocent. And thank you, all of you. As I said, we are running a little bit short of time, but I just want to pose one question here to all of you. So you mentioned partnerships, you mentioned various groups, and we can integrate it into, but how do we integrate? I'm not only looking at you, Sol, but all of you. How do we integrate 30 kilometers into advocacy with groups that we haven't worked with before? Any suggestions there, specific suggestions? How do you sort of push a very specific thing such as 30 kilometers an hour into an agenda that might look a little bit different? I don't know if any of you have some suggestions.
Hello. Hello.
Want me to take this, Lotte?
So was it directed at, yeah, go on, Etienne.
No, you first. I went first.
No. I wasn't sure if it was directed at me or you, but
maybe Sol, you take this because we have another one for you after Etienne.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, well, just very quickly, I think it's about finding common ground, and I think it's about looking for where the 30 kilometers an hour agenda meets other agendas. And the example I gave earlier was campaigning groups that are campaigning around closing streets for kids to play. Another one is closing streets for school children to be safe getting to school. Those are examples where 30 kilometers an hour in sort of surrounding areas is an enabling policy that will also benefit those particular objectives. Another one is climate action. There's increasing research and evidence of the benefits of walking and cycling, and the motorized mobility that is moved onto walking and cycling, and the carbon savings that are made. Irrefutable proof now. We should be making common cause with, particularly in the run up to the climate summit in November, making common cause with the climate agenda and climate campaigners who are very vocal, very well connected often, and have the ear of mayors in particular. And you don't. I think the key point is you don't always have to advance this as a full frontal road safety measure. You can sometimes achieve what you want to achieve by attaching your agenda to somebody else's agenda. And I think the climate agenda is a really good example of that, where there is a huge amount of momentum for putting in cycle lanes, for reducing speeds so that people are safer to walk, achieves what we want, but it might not necessarily be talking about 30K, it might be talking about something completely different, but that is one of the solutions that gets you there. That's an example. I mean, it will depend very much on your local politics, and it's difficult for me sitting in London as a sort of global person to say what each of you should be doing in your particular country or city, but I think you can, you know your politics, the people you need to talk to, what will get them moving. It may be something like COVID, COVID response. How do we make the streets safe for social distancing? How do we get people who don't want to get back on mass transportation to move without using the car? There may be other trigger points. You may not have to talk about 30K as a road safety measure.
I think also, Nani, you talked about it, that you sort of crafted when you when you sort of saw the different politicians during the election, you crafted the message in different ways and sort of presented it from different angles and thereby attached into their agendas. So that might also be an advice for all of you. There's a question here from one of the NGOs talking about the fact that this was an international week. If that sort of, if you felt that built a momentum for you, and this may be a question for the NGOs, George, Innocent, Nani, did you feel that, given that it was an international event, that helped you in your work at local level? George, maybe you have a...
Yes, I would like to add a small thing, maybe how we attach our agenda to other agendas, as Shoal has mentioned. Sorry. So we are planning to work with private companies now, through our experience, to integrate the Law 30 campaign. We are planning to integrate the Law 30 also campaign into the academic curriculum with the school. So it's really important for us at the beginning of the new academic year, post-COVID-19, how to really educate students and the young generation on how to perceive road safety and the Streets for Life campaign in a new perspective, if you want. So this is a very important topic for us, and I believe all the NGOs should be working on this, either politically speaking, academically, socially speaking, and also economically, if I might say it, because you know, when a country is running into a financial crisis, we should think in a clever way on how to, if you want to manage this crisis and to reduce the cost. And reducing the cost of mobility in general will eventually reduce the cost of emissions and, you know, and the pollution and so on. So it's really an integration between agendas, the climate, the politics, the advocacy and so on. This is why we should turn this campaign into a really sustainable action, and hopefully we'll do great. So this is what I wanted to mention.
Right. There is a specific call for you, Etienne, on making sure that the WHO offices at regional level is as supportive as you are at headquarter level. Very specific call for support there, strong support from WHO headquarter, but regional offices, yeah. Since this is about the needs that we have, that it's worth mentioning here. I don't know if that's something you can talk to right now.
I can, yeah, because it's an issue that comes up regularly, and WHO is a big organization, so one would expect we have people in every country responding to road safety, but unfortunately our country offices are relatively small in terms of all of the issues they need to address, ranging from malaria, TB, HIV, to mental health, non-communicable diseases, environmental issues, etc., and road safety, violence, all of that falls in there too. So usually we have like 4, 5, 6 people in a country office. So the tobacco person has to do NCDs and also road safety and violence and all the rest of it. So I know it's a challenge, and I'm frustrated by it as much as you are, because there is so much we could be doing if we had more people. So in some countries, we have the chance to have somebody who's more dedicated to road safety. We've had that in Brazil, in Thailand, in a number of countries for a while. But in most countries, we don't. And it's a weakness, I'm fully aware.
So what can we do?
So I think the thing to do is to be very strategic. We cannot expect that, you know, they will be able to respond to everything. But now and then, when there is a big thing like the UN Road Safety Week, for example, we do expect that all of them do something. So I think it's also to provide them with support. I think if they know that there are NGOs out there willing to work with them, they might be more in a possibility to support things than if they feel like they're all alone. But yeah, it depends country by country, so I cannot give really a general.
So reach out to you at the headquarter level, or try to engage at regional level. What's your suggestion?
Certainly at regional level. At regional level, we have somebody in each region now, so they are a bit more on the ball. But yeah, I think through the regional offices could also be an option, depending on the regions. And we can, of course, help as we can, but I cannot guarantee that in every country we have action, because unfortunately the reality of things.
Great.
I'm unfortunately going to have to hop off because I have.
Yeah, I know, and you saw. I know you're also busy, so you just drop off. So thank you very much to our panelists here, Chen. Thank you very much.
Good to
For
see all of
joining.
you. Keep up the great work. Bye.
Thank you. Great. I'd like to move to Rod. And Rod, you promised to join us as an associate member this morning. So so he's one of the latest friends we have in our group. And Rod, you're also the king in many ways, but the king of 30 kilometers now, or 20 in the UK. And you have promised us to try to make a summary of some of the points that we have heard here. Thank you. Take it away, please.
Okay, thank you. And it's great to be part of the team, which you all are. So thank you for having me in there. I've got to say that I'm really proud of everything which you've done, because it always hits me that things like 30 kilometers per hour are so dependent, this campaigning, on people out there in the streets making their voices heard about what they want for their communities. And that is the real strength of this campaign for Streets for Life. What I've been doing is making some notes as we've gone through of the words which have been used by different people. And I think that will help sum us up. Lottie, yes, the words were fantastic, impressive, gaining commitments, and worldwide. All of these things are great things which have been achieved in the Road Safety Week. And Etienne, amazing, global, strong campaign, and keep pushing, right? And these are all, I think, very good examples of the real difference which have been made. It struck me as well that when it comes to people like the WHO, yeah, they had the vision, right? And they need the courage to actually adopt the things which NGOs want. But there is a relationship between them, right? The more that they can see that NGOs are in favor of that, then the more organizations like WHO will actually voice those visions which they have, because they can see that things are winnable. The links to the high-level meeting, to COP26, and so on are so important, right? Because those are the places where we can really consolidate this sensitization of politicians to what we've been talking about. Saul, the words there, practical, specific. And again, when we want people to do things, politicians, we have to be practical. We have to be specific. It's no good just saying we want better, we want things which are better than they were. We have to be specific. And that's what this campaign has done really very well. He made the links to the UN Habitat Review, which could incorporate 30K, the COP26, and again, these global events, right, where it's sort of keep on as an opportunity to keep pushing in and injecting Love 30 into that decision making and those recommendations. Other words, platform. It's a platform for change. It's something which we can build on from UN Global Road Safety Week. I'd say it's even a launch pad. It's something which enables you to go much, much higher than where you were when you actually on that platform. And we can build. And the build is happening across nations as well. Right. Excuse me a second. Right. Okay. Political change. Yes. One of the things which we need is that politicians to see what experts are saying, those national experts, WHO, FAI Foundation, and so on. But also when that gets linked to what NGOs want, then that becomes powerful. Politicians can see not only it's the right thing to do, but people want it as well. And that was there when we, I thought that was a great word from Maria about decrazifying 30 kilometers per hour. Right, we're taking it out of being a crazy idea which couldn't happen to something which can happen. It's doable, and other countries are doing it. So really, really good. The multiple contexts which you can focus it on. Different people will see different benefits from 30 kilometers per hour. So actually identify what their hot buttons are and place 30K into the context which they want. And again, the bigger the scale, the better the opportunity. The greater when you're putting something in population-wide, then the bigger the population, then the better effect. George, talking about transforming, think global, act local, streets and life, about changing cultures, the partnership for worldwide. It becomes a standard for cities. Cities are saying, well, they've got that, we should have that as well. So really good. And Innocent in Rwanda, yes, gaining those commitments, putting cameras in, and also getting that engagement which says that speed matters in our communities. So really great that. The question and answer sessions, yes, streets, 30K enables things to happen. It enables other things to take place. And also those linking to climate action, reducing transport carbon, and so on. And, you know, the thing about all your NGOs, your voice is from the street. And if we really want to transform our streets, then we have to see streets as seen from the streets and not from behind a steering wheel. And that is something which you have been applying to this debate, right? This quest for making our communities better by giving that perspective. These are people walking and cycling and living in our streets, and it's what they want and how they can make it better. And yes, it really is making a change. And as I said, I have never, in all the years which I've been campaigning and observing road safety and campaigns, seen anything which is as global, which is specific, which has been successful and has changed so many perspectives of people of what's possible and what we should be getting on doing. And I thank you all, because it has really been a great week. I'm still coming down from that UN Global Road Safety Week, right? It was busy, but it was really, really fantastic. And I was so pleased to see this subject and this solution as well being applied in so many different countries, so many different political systems, so many different religions, so many different people, and yet it was all common there. If we can reduce the speed of vehicles, we will make our communities better places wherever they are, right? And that is really something which brings us all together, right, as advocates and as campaigners. So well done. We have every opportunity to take that forward now, and I'm convinced that we will, and you will all make a big difference to our streets and the way we can live. So thank you. Have I summed that up okay, Lottie?
I think you have. I don't know if any of you feel that he missed anything. I think you did it very well. And I think we all congratulate NGOs for the amazing work that they have done on the ground, and it has been truly amazing. We were supposed to have breakout rooms now, but I think it's a little bit more efficient if we just do it in plenary. And what we want to talk about is really to get most of you engaged in this and hear it from you. So I would like to open the floor to what opportunities you see for following up. to the campaign here for the advocacy that can be done for the Log 30 campaign as a follow-up to the work that you have already done. The panel spoke about it. There might be some of the things that you could be more specific about. What can you see opportunities in your country? And then we also, after, what do you specifically need from us, from the Alliance? There was mentioned at some time the Commit to Act campaign. We are planning to launch a new chapter of the campaign, or a new phase of the campaign in the fall. We'd like to get inputs to what you're looking for so you can continue the momentum. So I'm opening up the floor now for this, and would really like to hear from you what you would like to see, what are the opportunities you see for advocacy, and what are the needs that you have for achieving it. So if you raise your hand, I don't know if there's somebody there from Nigeria. Is that?
Yes.
All right. Please name and
Nigeria.
so we know who is speaking. Here. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Prince Ogu Julius from Nigeria. I'm the president, Road Accident Prevention Network. Can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you falling out a little bit.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. It's a great week. First of all, I want to congratulate the Alliance for the successful event that just ended. And from Nigeria here, it was a win-win situation because we involved the government at the highest level. We were able to visit the vice president of the country, most of the decision makers, government agencies, and over 35 NGOs from the coalition of road safety NGOs participated. And it is a national event, more or less an international event. And I will share this report with Secretary Lisman on our achievements. The opportunities available are so numerous because a lot of people have been knocked down in school zones, marketplaces, and public places in urban areas. And it requires a very strong legislation to see that this 30-kilometer speed reduction on Street for Life is enforced in our country and even in entire West Africa, or let me say in Africa, because each country has its own attitude towards road safety behavior. And in that vein, the opportunity here is that the attention of the masses, the government, and all the stakeholders has been drawn to this, first of all, and based on the serious awareness and campaign, that took place during that week. And the parents and others who have their relatives being knocked down, especially those who move far away to cross one or two roads, are concerned about the reduction of speed and possibly the enforcement. And they are ready to, the Alliance is like a household name now in Nigeria because this was a serious advocacy, and a sticker, print a whole lot of stickers that want to sustain that, and they need to slow down in those areas. The vice president of the country has signed an endorsement on the placard we took to him with the stakeholders. So with that, we believe it's not going to take time for the legislation to be enforced. We're talking about enforcement. So working with the lead agencies and other organizations that have authority to enforce road safety rules and regulations in our country. More so, we have decided. More so, we decided to see how we can place the sign in most of the schools and the zones, market areas, and other. But it's not enough to keep the sign. People might not even know what it means. It requires a backup advocacy and volunteers standing in those areas to see how they can ensure that vehicles who violate are reported. Because here in this part of the world, there's nothing like speed cameras. There's nothing that to monitor road safety misbehavior or violation of rules and regulations. They are all manually enforced. So although there is plan to improve if the opportunity is there, if we have companies who are into this, the government is willing to work with them through us and all that to fix speed cameras and the rest. But the support of the alliance is mostly needed. The support of the alliance is seriously needed in the regard of opening up opportunity for fundings and even giving us an endorsement or even a letter. Look, we are working with these organizations and this is the UN mandate. And we hope the government of this country, the private sectors in your country will work and support you to bring this to fusion, to pass. That is most of the things we need, if not immediate direct funding, because a lot of lives have been lost in school zones. So there are several opportunities, continuous advocacy towards all this. So we have 774 local governments in Nigeria. We have a plan to network these local governments and see that advocacy gets to the grassroots and even involve them in the production, distribution, and enforcement of the UN mandate, show that speed are reduced in public places to 30 kilometers per hour.
I will stop you here because I want to allow more people to respond to the question, but thank you very much. Involving private sector.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate the opportunity given to me.
Thank you. Involving private sector, involving governments is your advice and opportunities you see moving forward. Kulan, you have your hand raised. What opportunities do you see? And what opportunities do you see?
Right. Thanks, Lotte, and hi to everyone. I think I have three points over here. The first thing is I just hope that this UN Road Safety Week's agenda, it doesn't stop with this 1 week, but it goes on until April 2023, until the next team comes up. So that means we have 2 years to drive this agenda of 30 km per hour. That's one. Second, for those countries which has done programs on this 30 km per hour, and for a long term you have done, and if you have some results to show that it has worked in terms of bringing down, in terms of crashes, and then in terms of fatalities or what, it would be nice if these findings can be published. Because once these findings is published, then it becomes a bullet for all those other countries to take it up to the next level, because then we can convince our policymakers, because this has been proven that it has been working in many countries. That's two. The third one is for any cities which has done this program and it really works. Some of these cities, they have like twin cities or sister cities, so that if they can influence their sister cities to also take up this program and run it. So if they talk within their peer groups, then I think the buying in is much more better. And then when we support it from the ground, from the NGOs, then I think things will work better. Yeah, thanks, Lotte.
All right, thank you very much, Kulan. Making sure the campaign goes on and finding published. I noted that. Katie, hi, please, you have your hand.
Yes, I wanted to add something. First of all, I wanted to let you know, in case you didn't notice, that Greece was been awarded for 2021 from the European Transport Safety Council this year as the first, one of the three first countries that have reduced the deaths, the road deaths. But still, it's a dangerous country for road users, because the last decade, of course, they were less, up to half percent, 50, for example, 54% reduced the deaths, but there were very many, more than 10,000 for the last decade were killed in our roads, 10,000 citizens, and still I want to tell that the state is still unable to register them methodologically. We took the chance for the Road Safety Week to collect as many signatures we could achieve, and it was more than 200 stakeholders. That means tens of thousands citizens that had a very a big rush of this demand, 30,000 kilometers limits now, and we follow up the advocacy through the stakeholders. We are doing this constantly now, and the best we could hear, the best news we could hear is that our Minister of Transportation has announced that from September new meters are going to happen in Greece. That is about 30 kilometers also. If I won't see it with my very own eyes, the law, I mean, voted from the from our parliament members, I won't believe it. But it's a very dynamic beginning for Greece, and this with the stakeholders. I mean, not only the citizens, but many organizations to follow that through the schools, through whatever we did, all of us, we did. I think, yes, this is the opportunities we can have, not only see, but have actually.
Great, thank you. Thank you,
what do we need to achieve that? We'll have the chance to follow, to update and send our opinions by email, not right now. I don't want to take more of your precious time here.
Thank you, Katie. Engaging stakeholders and also making sure that the sort of recognition you get globally is picked up is what I hear you are saying. Thank you, Katie, for your comment. Moses Hogan from Dominican Republic, you have your hand raised. Could you just briefly talk about the opportunities you see and also what you need to achieve it, please?
Yes, thank you, Lord. So I'm Moisés Holguín from Fundación Red de la Dignidad from Dominican Republic. Once again, we thank you for having invited us to this great meeting. Getting into the topic, okay? Here in Dominican Republic, we had extraordinary support from the competent authority that have to do with the use of public roads, such as governors, mayors, and deputies on the main cities of our country, where there is a greater concentration of vehicles. The work we are doing on the moments in the basis on the awareness and support with decision makers, which in the 30 kilometers per hour in the urban cities is one of the best options to reduce that and traffic injuries. We are working together with the authorities to open programs in different communities of the countries, conducting awareness on the workshops for vehicle drivers, mainly motorcycles drivers associations, which today here in Dominican Republic have the highest incidence in the data of injuries. Finally, the Fundación Red de la Dignidad, thank you each of you for giving us the opportunity to express our share in this way. Thank you, Lotte.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I see Shamir Yakok, please.
Hello, am I
Hi there.
audible? Am I audible? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the floor. This is Shamir Mahmood from Ekok Attomanobik Unnayan Songstha. I'm from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and I would like to give my floor to Muntasir Hafiz, and he would convey our feedback from Ekok to you. So over to Muntasir.
Hello everyone, this is Muntasir from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I'm speaking on behalf of ECOC. First of all, it's an honor to be here. And as we speak, I'm speaking from Bangladesh, and alarmingly, the road accidents is all-time high at this moment, even in the COVID crisis. And even though we had a very successful road safety week a few days ago, I would like to highlight our learnings during our research and also during the programs that we ran. So the first thing that I would propose is to keep the programs running, to have a continuous program, to have a more nationwide penetration and using multiple channels of communication. And we would like to sit with the country's policymakers regularly, specifically our top policymakers in road safety are BRTA, Ministry of Road Transport, and we also have the UN representative in Bangladesh on board with us. We have already sat with them together, and we would to continue in the future. And also, one thing I would like to add is take the problem, take it to the root of the problem, where we would like to run advocacy programs with the public and private sector drivers, and to have a deeper understanding of what it really means. Even though we are trying to make the legislation for 30 kilometers per hour speed, but we need the drivers to understand the lesser educated people who do not have a lot of exposure to television channels or internet. They need to understand from their perspective what it means to drive slow and the impact that they will have in the long run if they maintain the rules and regulations. Thank you. That's been it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we have a couple minutes left. I'll give 1 minute to Nani and another minute to George, and then we'll need to wrap up. Nani, you go first, please.
Okay. Well, thank you. I will go very quick. I think that to keep this momentum and to follow up, we need support all the NGOs. We need funding. There is no chance to keep this topic on the public agenda if there is no professional people giving like most of the time, like full time. We need on our teams locally on the ground level people with sales skills, communication skills, in order to convince a politician to make a twist and a change in a public policy and things like it will change the behavior of the citizens. That is a big cost for a politician. And so for that, we need people with strong skills, like be able to identify what is the need of that politician and then make a message that fit on that and try to make a change. And now I think most of the topics except COVID, they are struggling with funds. And I see like day by day people leaving road safety, moving to other topics because there is no funding. So I think that from the global level that you are like FIA Foundation, FedEx, UPS, and all the organizations around WHO, they need to keep the NGOs working because there is, I think in most of the countries that I work in Latin America, they signed the agreements of the UN, but they don't put it on place. So the only way to see those public policies on place is when you have someone, like the bird, like ting, 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 like clicking all the time. And for that, you need resources because you need full-time people and professional people being able to sit down with like top people. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, great. And George,
yes.
Final minute here.
Okay, before I conclude, sorry, because I have to leave to join again the training. I totally agree with Maria. We really need to keep the momentum by ting, 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 the same. That's really nice from her. Just a small tip. First of all, thank you, Rod, for all the effort. Always up to date to your work, and thank you for motivating us. Guys, all our colleagues in the Alliance, please focus on the data. Data is really crucial. We need to be accountable, transparent, and to transform the mentality and the streets at the same time. Collect data, post the campaign. It is only data that we can what we want, really. And always think about it this way. Alone, we can achieve a little bit, but all together, we can achieve big. So let's keep the momentum by cooperating and by creating a synergy of benefits between all partners, the private sector, the FIA Foundation, WHO, maybe we're not gonna receive direct funds, as Maria has mentioned, but maybe through local partners and regional partners, we can receive the right funding to keep the momentum alive. So thank you so much, and sorry because I have to leave.
Thank you, George. Okay, so time is running here. I think it was really very, very interesting to hear your all your views on how we. There's a big agreement that that this 30 kilometers now need to focus and continue throughout the next couple of years. That this should be sort of the focus of all the work that we do in campaigning. And also that there is a strength of doing it together, that what you're doing at local level is connected to the global level. There was also a strong conclusion that we need to present findings. We need to showcase that this is working. We need to showcase all the findings and all the bits and pieces that we have achieved, and making sure that this is published so it stays in the forefront of everybody's minds. Funding is crucial. We cannot do this without having the proper resources, having the proper skills, expertise, having those people on our teams and working focused on this. It's simply not possible at all. And then the nagging or the ding 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 that Nani, maybe this is going to be a thing that we say, do the do the nagging there, keep on pushing, and be that annoying bird that just keeps on pushing for 30 kilometers an hour and don't give up. That's also one of the things that have come out of your comments here at the end. We will at the Alliance, we will take all this and look at it one more time and make sure that all your comments and feedback is consolidated, and we bring this forward. So when we are launching the next chapter of the campaign here, we are completely and utterly true to what you have seen on the ground, and we are integrating it into the next level campaign. And then all what you hear, you can listen back to this recording. So if there's anything you feel there was some good advice or some good opportunities that you heard that you want to pick up, please do it. We're here for you. We're here. We're really here for strengthening you and your voice and what you do on the ground. You are part of the reality. We're just here to support you. And we need your feedback. We need everything from you, so to move forward. And everything you're telling us, we are trying to make sure we address. So I would really like to thank Rod, Nani, George. I don't think anyone. Yeah, I think it's only you and Rod and Nani who has been on panel who are left here with us. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for to all of you for taking part of the week, to being so active, and for reporting back so we can showcase these results. And thanks for all the work that you've done throughout the time, and keep on that momentum. Please keep it up and continue your amazing work. Good luck with everything, and we're here, you know where we are, and looking forward to continue working with you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.